I have a statement that I would like to make today. God uses imperfect people. God uses imperfect people, not perfect people. Somebody needs to hear that on today. Somebody needs to know and hear that God uses imperfect people. God doesn't use perfect people. And somebody on today is thinking that they're not good enough for God to use. And that very well could be you on today. See, you very well could be that person sitting back and thinking, I've done too many things in this life. God would never want to use me. Somebody may think that the family that they was brought up in and say, I was brought up in this type of family and God doesn't want to use me. I was raised this way. God doesn't want to use me. Well, I'm here to tell somebody on today that God uses imperfect people and God will use you. When I think back about different people in the Bible, and it's many people in the Bible that God used that was imperfect people. When I think about Paul, and Paul used to persecute Christians. I want you to think about this now. Paul was used by the Lord, but before Paul was used by the Lord, Paul used to persecute Christians. He killed believers, but God used him. I want you to think about it now. David was a man after God's own heart, but I want you to think about what David did. David committed adultery. David slept with another man's wife, and David had another man killed because he wanted that man's wife. He used Moses. I want you to think about this now. And Moses was a murderer. Moses had a bad speaking problem, and he still used him. See, Peter doubted God. He denied Christ 3 times, and he still used him. The Lord used Rahab, and she was a prostitute. He used her. See, it's many people in the Bible that the Lord used. We just have to get in it and get in the word and know that God used not so good people. See, I think about Zacchaeus. He was a corrupt tax collector. God used him. It's many people up in the Bible, whether they did not so good things, whether they doubted God, they didn't truly trust in God, but God still used them. And if God used them, tell me, why can't God use you? See, what is it in your life that you truly think it could stop God from wanting to use you? What is it inside of you that has you doubting and thinking that God wants nothing to do with you when God is saying, I can and I want to use you? Because see, on today, somebody needs to hear and realize that God will accept you any kind of way. Somebody needs to hear this on today, that God will accept you any kind of way. And the reason that God will accept you any kind of way, because you will not stay that way. You could be somebody who feel like, well, you was a murderer. Well, you see, back then, God used them and he can use you. You may be thinking that I done slept with too many men. You may be thinking that you're a whoremonger and God can't use you. You may feel like you was a drunk. You may feel like God can't use you. You may feel like you're a drug addict. You're addicted to pornography and God can't use you. You may feel like you've done so many things in life and you sit back and think God doesn't want to use you. Well, God does want to use you because God uses imperfect people. See, when I think about the 12 disciples and the different men that was picked out, they was imperfect people. They wasn't the most educated people. They was very common people. See, the people that the Lord used, he didn't go pick them out from a Bible college or anything like that. See, that's the thing that we must realize. See, somebody right now is thinking they don't have the education, so God doesn't want to use them. They don't have this certain type of job. They're not making a certain amount of money on their job, so God doesn't want to use them. But on today, God is saying, I want to use you. That's what God is saying. And God is saying that it's nothing that you can do to make me not want to use you. Because the Lord is saying on today, I will accept you any kind of way, because you will not stay that way. It doesn't matter if you had abortions. It doesn't matter if you fall, if you cuss like a sailor. It doesn't matter if you sold drugs. It does not matter, because the Lord is saying, just come my way. It does not matter if you was trapped or you feel like you're trapped in a same-sex relationship and you saying that God don't want to use you, because what God is saying, I can and I will use you if you just come my way. Because the Lord is saying on today, oh, I will accept you any kind of way, because you will not stay that way. See, somebody needs to know, when you come into the presence of the true and living God, you cannot and you will not stay the same. And that's what somebody needs to realize on the day. Because see, the Lord acceptance is not like your mama acceptance or your daddy acceptance or your friend acceptance. Because see, the reality is they will accept you any kind of way and you stay that way. See, they don't care that you got a foul mouth, a bad attitude. See, they don't care that you got that hate in your heart. See, they don't care that you living any kind of way, that you shacked up, that you were drunk. They just accept you any kind of way. And the difference between them accepting you that way, you stay that way. But the Lord is saying, I will accept you that way. The Lord is saying, I will never turn you away, because the Lord is saying, when you come my way, you will leave a different way. The Lord is saying, when you come my way, you will leave a different way. When we come into the presence of the true and living God, we become brand new. Old things fade away and we become brand new. When you start seeking after the Lord, getting to know the Lord, all you want to do is start living a life that's pleasing to the Lord, because you will be transformed from the Lord. Mama can't transform you. A pastor can't transform you. Daddy can't do it. A job can't do it. A man can't do it. But only God can do it. And on today, are you ready to be transformed by God? Because God will use you. Are you ready to truly be used by God? Because it's not enough that you can do that you think the Lord don't want to use you. The Lord is saying, I will use you and I can use you, but you have to come on through. When we come into the presence of the true and living God, we will never be the same. To your darkest secret that you feel like nobody knows about, but it's on you. To whatever you feel like you've done that people know about, and you feel like, no, God can't use me. But somebody needs to know on today that God used imperfect people, not perfect people. See, God doesn't always use the most educated people. Sometimes God uses the uneducated people. Sometimes God doesn't always use the richest people, but sometimes he uses the poorest people. Because in all things, everything is about God getting the glory and God getting the praise. Because when somebody can look and say, you used to be this way, but now you walk in a better way, God gets the glory and God gets the praise. And that's what it's all about. When I always tell my testimony, I'm always letting people know, if God can fix a sinful woman like me, why can't he fix you? Why can't he fix you? If God can use a messed up woman like me, why can't God use you? Because he has no respect of person. So what is it on today that's holding you back from living out your true purpose for God? What is it on today that you just need to go and surrender and say, I'm ready to be used by God? And he wants to use you. The Lord will accept you any kind of way, because just always remember, you cannot stay that way. Somebody needs to hear that on today, that God uses imperfect people, not perfect people. So let's seek the Lord and let's go to the Lord so we can truly be used by the Lord. So always remember my closing. Self-examination is the best examination. And Jesus Christ is Lord, and he's all we have. Have a great rest of the day.